Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, which means peace on you in Arabic. Today I'm gonna show you how I've created this effect. Many of you have been asking me, so I decided to create it now. So in this effect I've used a plugin called Trapcode particular for the dancing particles, and for the reflection or shadow in the water I've used Trapcode form and Soundkeys to take the values from the music. This is all Trapcode plugins. These are very amazing plugins. I really recommend you to install them. So okay, let's start. I'm gonna use the same music reflection by Power Reviews. So I could have noted all the settings and show you all the settings that you should be working on, but I think this is not a way. I really don't like it that way, that you copy the settings just to get the effect. I think there's no point in doing that, so I'm just gonna move forward, start the project like I'm usually gonna start it. Create a new composition, name it whatever you want, main comp or something like that. I will usually start with some background, simple background. It doesn't have to be, it's just a starting, it's not just to have a basic idea of your final color choice, your mood. So I'm gonna use a full color grading. By default it's very saturated colors, so let's push them back a little bit. Let's make them closer to each other. Let's make this one darker. And this one. Push them back. So I'm just playing here with the colors, pushing them back and forth just to get the feel I want. This is all your choice. You don't have to make it the exact same color. Actually in the original it's very different, as you can see. So okay, let's continue from here. I basically have chosen to have in this area the brightest area, so we can imagine that the light will come from this side and not like in the original, which is somewhere here. So let's make this layer 3D and we will create a light, a point light. We will place it here in the brightest area. So let's look at the two views. This, by clicking here, by choosing two views horizontal, it will give you two views, one on the normal, the active camera, and the other one is top view. So I'm gonna push this closer, or probably like this is not bad. It will increase the intensity of this light by revealing its options, light options, intensity. Alright, very intense. push it back. So here I'm pushing the light back in space on top of you, and play with the settings. You can also play again with the background. Here I selected the background and the effect to move the points again, just to match. Alright, so that's that one here. We can change it after, not a problem. It's never definitive. So we'll create a new solid. This is the particular solid, particular, and we'll apply our effect. Trapcode, particular. This is all the Trapcode plugins. What I use mostly is particular and form. Those are especially particular. Those are these are really amazing effects. Okay, so alright. So when we move our timeline, you will see that the particles are emitting here. If we disable the background, we will be able to see them better. So by default they emit in the middle. So let's place them in this side maybe, or this. Okay, do it here this time. If we didn't like it, we can move it here. Let's start tweaking some settings. First of all, I will make particles. I will make them black, just so we can see them. Okay, just so we can see them clearly. And then I will go to the emitter settings. So I will make the velocity 0, velocity random, all 0, so there will be no velocity, there will be no shooting out of particles. After that, I'm going to physics. I'm gonna make the gravity, I'm gonna give it a negative value, about 60 or something, minus 60, sorry, negative, just negative, so they rise up. This is all things that you can change always, so never like note this. That's why I didn't note the settings, so you can see that all these settings you can change them after to get the look you want. Alright, so now the particles are rising. If we make a preview, you can see that these are the main particles are emitting upwards. What we want, we're not interested about the main particles, but we want other particles that emit from these main particles. And this is another great feature in Trapcode particular. It's called auxiliary system. This parameter, when you activate it, you choose continuously. This is another feature. We may talk about it in another tutorial, but now we're gonna use continuously. Alright, so let's see our particles. Now nothing happens because the particles that emit from main particles don't move at all. There is no effect that will move them to the side, or so they move just along with the original particles. If we change some physics here, for example turbulence position, which I will be using for this effect, we'll push it up. Now we can see that we can see the auxiliary particles, the secondary particles, if you want to call them that, they emit from the original ones, and they have their own color, of course. This is their color. you can change that. If you want them to take the color from the original, you can increase this color from main, make it 100, and they will take the color from original. Or else you could make them leave them like that. So I'm not gonna keep the main particles because I'm gonna work mostly on the secondary ones. So just I'm going to particle here. Here are my particles. I will make their size 0. Okay, now I'm focusing only on the on the secondary ones. The color doesn't matter for now. I'm not gonna play with the color. So let's take a look at how this looks like. So it's interesting. Let's take a look at the video. So there are many things happening here. We wanna look at all that. Alright, let's move to the physics. Physics in the main particles. Turbulence field. Increase it a bit. Let's see what it will give us. Alright, so let's just keep it around 100. Because this is affecting the turbulence of the main particles. This is the positioning of the main particles, not the secondary ones. So we have the main particles have this turbulence, which will affect the positioning of all the particles in here. We don't have to change this actually. It doesn't help us too much. But we can play with the scale. If we make it 5, for example, that will change everything, because here those settings, those options, they don't affect only this turbulence, they also affect the turbulence here for the second particles. So whatever we change for this, it will affect the turbulence for the second particles too. Alright, so let's take a look. Okay, I think we got the basic idea. So by increasing the life of these particles, they stay longer. I mean, they live longer. Normally, when they live less than that, you can see that the secondary particles don't live that long. They disappear before creating that shape. And what I notice here is when I make it 1 second is longer than 1.5, it stays the same as 0.5. That's because the other particles also have life that affecting us. This. So this is the life of the main particles, and the other is the life of the secondary ones. This one. So let's leave it this way. Let's see what we can play with again. We have control from main particles, velocity. Okay, this is an interesting effect, but I don't think it will serve us too much for this tutorial. I won't use it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, let's take a look at the physics. The spin. This is also an effect I use in this one. It's the spin of the main particles. But I think what I did in my version here, I've controlled the spin with the music. So I think it's time to add our music. So let's get our track here, and let's create a new solid. We will call it Soundkeys, showing the effect Trapcode Soundkeys. So we will see this spectrum. We will add a new layer, our music. When we add the music layer, we can see this the spectrum of our music. So this, let me disable particles and background so we can see it better. If we preview this, so what this effect will do is it will convert this to values using this range. It will convert the music to values that we can use for other effects here. Any effect you want in After Effects. Okay, so we're gonna choose some parts of this song to take them. First of all, I usually prefer to use instead of using the range or this rectangle, I just use its peak. It's by changing here peak of range. So whatever the maximum height here, it will be the same in values. It won't take on count these empty areas. Sometimes it's better this way. I also want this when it's calm, I want this to raise even more a little bit. I don't want it to be let's see, I want it to be at least at 10% or 20% of this, because I'm gonna use that as a physics value. I don't want the physics value to be very close to 0. I want it to be at least 0.2 or something like that, so we will have a slow movement in that cam. It doesn't stop totally. It gives this slow movement. You're gonna understand this in a little bit. So first of all, let's tweak this. We are in the middle, so let's play with this middle range. Smooth it a bit. Okay, I think this will work better. I'm saving this. I didn't save it yet. Yo. Okay. Tutorial. Production. Alright, I just have this habit of saving before before applying any simulations or things like that or calculations in After Effects, because you risk having like a freeze or crash in your program or something. I also have this habit of doing this by going to edit, purging all. It means removing everything in the background, in the memory, like this video, like this preview we do. Normally it's registered in the background, so I remove that to free the memory of the system. That's why before applying the effect, the memory will be free. So I hit apply, wait for a few seconds, and that's it. We got our values, so you can see. I pressed due so I can see the keyframe of the slider. By clicking the slider, you can go check the options, but it's quicker to just press U and go directly to the effect that has keyframes. So we can see that this is the music values. To see them better, we can choose the graph editor, and you can look at the music. This is our music. So we can use these values anywhere. As I said, I can use it for light intensity or whatever effect that has keyframes. I can connect it to this. So let's go to particular. What do we have here? Let's. I don't need to look at the spectrum anymore, so I will hide the sound keys, reveal the background again, and particles. So particles. First, I'm gonna add this to this. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna keep experimenting, and you will look at how I usually work when I'm. It's like working on a new project for me. I didn't memorize all the settings. I'm just experimenting. It's been like more than I think it's been 2 years. Last time I've when I've made this project. On reflection, let's see the date. Yes, it's been more than 2 years when I've made this. So I think I almost forgot all the effects and the settings that I've played on. When we look at the project, the original project, you will see how chaotic it is. It's not organized at all. There are many compositions. There are a lot of compositions, a lot of experiments. So when you look at that, it might scare you because it's very chaotic. So that's why I've created this new project, and you will go through all these experiments in a better, clean way. Alright, let's talking. Let's hold Alt. When you hold Alt and click a stopwatch of an effect, it will bring you this. It will ask you to write an expression. Usually you use this expression, a script or something to drive your effect. But here I don't have to write an expression. I'll just connect it by using this pick whip. I'm gonna connect it to this output, our music values. So we got our music values connected this pin. Let's see how it will look like. Okay, this looks a bit. Let's see. Okay, we almost. I think we are getting close to the effect we want. I know it looks weird now, but we can play with all this. So it's very quick and fast. You can all change that with the physics time after. What I also see here. Okay, let's come here to the size. No, this is very small. Let's keep it how it was. Particles per second. So Here's the particles. Alright, so we got that now. I just changed the size. It's now 3. If we look at this, it will look this way. So, spin amplitude, it goes very quick. Let's go play with this spin even more. Go back to physics, spin frequency, fade in time. Let's see if we make this fade in time 0. I mean, like, the spin starts from the emitter itself. I think this is better, because this fade in spin just tells you when does this effect start. If we make it 2, then the particles, it won't start. It will start only. It will affect only the particles that are already lived 2 seconds already. So it will only start around here. But if we make it 0, it will start in the beginning of the emitting. This is how it will look like. Okay. What else I could do is I could connect this output to physics here. This is the physics time factor. It's in physics particular. This is another very powerful feature. Physics time factor. It basically controls the speed of anything here. Anything in the physics, it controls its speed. So as you can see here, it's very slow when I made it for. The normal speed is 1. This is real-time speed. What I want is this speed changes in time with the music. As you can see here, sometimes it's very quick, sometimes very slow. It goes back slow. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's look at this. I will go to Soundkeys. Let's disable the background, particular, go to Soundkeys, look at effect. I think I'm gonna probably use the same rectangle. We could create another rectangle. We could do like range 2 and create another one. It's not a problem. Let's see how it will, what it will give us. This is the second one. This is how it looks like. I will change it too. I will do the same thing I did for the first rectangle. It will take only the range, the peak of range, how much it took of this range, the length. It won't look at the empty areas of this rectangle. So this might be better. I think this is very wild. As you can see, this doesn't really go with the rhythm of the music. So let's go back to average of range. The only problem is here is the maximum value. It doesn't get to 1. It doesn't get to the maximum. It doesn't get it here. So I'm gonna change this range. Probably, hopefully, we will be able to fix this. So we got this is the maximum now. Let's try to do it like this. Okay, probably. I think this is much better. Okay, let's use this. Because just I feel this time it's this range. It goes with the rhythm of the music. Okay. So the other thing I will do in the first one, the value goes from 0 to 100. As you can see here, this is the first one. This is the maximum value. It's 100, and it moves from 0 to 100. The problem here is we have the effect we're gonna use, which is physics time factor. The maximum value we want is 1. It's not 100, and the minimum is 0. So if we use more than that, if it goes more than 1, it will be very it will give very strange effect. Super, it's very, it's very quick. It's not a normal speed. So we will keep the range from 0 to 1 by going to Soundkeys and changing this for range 2. Sorry, not for range 1. Range 1 we don't need it anymore. We have finished with it. Now we're working on range 2, which is this one, this rectangle here. We can change this from 0 to 1. It's already here with the those effects, with those we have choices here, so it's already there. If it's not here, if you don't have the values you want, you can create a new one by choosing custom and create a minimum and a maximum value. You can always play with negative, or you can have a negative value if you want. So I will just choose 0 to 1, and I will push this back. You see, before I am applying this effect, I push this work area back. So because if I didn't do that, if I applied this effect, it will apply it only in this part. It will ignore this part. So that's why before applying the effect, make sure you have all your work area ready. So again, as I have this habit of saving because I had a lot of problems before because of this. So I've lost many projects because of it. So I'm doing this just in case. Saving and removing everything in the background, and then apply the effect. Few seconds, and there you go. Select the layer, press U, and you can see your effect. This is, as you can see here, this is the value, the second output. It changes the value from 0 to 1, and the other one, the first one, it's from 0 to 100. Okay, so let's move on. Disable sound keys, enable background particular, and where's our physics time factor? Again, hold Alt for Windows. I don't know if it's same thing in the Mac or something like that. I never used a Mac before, so I don't know. Anyway, for Windows, you hold Alt and you click this stopwatch, and you hold this pick whip, and you push it to the value you want, the output you want. And there you go, it's automatic. Let's look at our effect. It's very small, we can play with that later. Let's look at how change the, so you can see it better. Okay, I think we are getting close. Okay, so let's play a little bit with the life and the amount of particles. As you can see here, the particles are very straight lines. We don't have points around. We don't have this problem here, this point here. This is because of there's not enough particles to go along. So let's increase the particle amount. Always in the auxiliary system. Increase the particles. More. Okay. By the way, to preview, I press 0. It's RAM preview. Okay. So let's go take a look at this spin frequency. I'm not sure about this, but I will just experiment a bit. I will see if I changed what it would give us. So more frequency. Okay, it gets very wild, as you can see. Too much spinning. Very quick. Should probably make it 0.5. Probably the spin amplitude is probably very strong. When it gets to the maximum, let's look for this. When it gets to 100, apparently I think it's very strong. Let's try to change that. Let's go back to particular. Reveal these layers. Reveal the when I press U again for in the layer. I press U. I reveal the effects that change over time that have keyframes or expressions. So I got here physics time factor. It's good, and the spin amplitude. So let's look at this expression. It's taking, as you can see, it's taking all the values from output 1 as we want. So what I'm gonna try here, I don't have to go back and change the output and change the range and probably this change the output minimum maximum. What I could do is just from here I could add other parentheses to the whole expression and divide it. We could divide it by 2, for example. So okay, so now when we've divided this expression, we will have the spin lower than the first one. Okay, so to explain this better, as you can see here, the output 1, we have 33 in value, and particular is taking the half because we divided it. It's taking 16.5. That's exactly what this effect has done. Alright, so we can go back to that later if we didn't like it, so let's just move on and work on something else. Let's work on the look of the particles and their color. So let's see here. Here each line has its color, its own color, and here we can see that each line has, all the lines are the same color but they are grading. This is because we are choosing, we are using the colors here, we are using the colors of the auxiliary system. We are not using the colors of the main particles. But here each line, which is the secondary particles, they are taking their color from the original particle. This is what we're gonna do now. We're taking the color from the main particles. It will be black because if you remember in the beginning we made all the particles black here in the main particles. We're gonna change this to overlay, for example. It will give us this, or we can try something else like random from gradient. Okay, so let's try some presets here. Okay, this. This is the part when you just experiment and you choose the colors of you want. I can't really make a tutorial to explain the colors you have to choose. There's nothing such as what are what colors I should choose, you know. It's all playing with the with saturation and value. This is how you get the right colors. It's not like choosing the blue or red or orange. You just go ahead and play with the value and the saturation of the color. The value is from here to here, saturation is from here to here. And this is the hue, this is the color. Okay, so don't want the saturated color. So okay, let's keep it this way. Alright, what else I can do? The shading. Okay, because now the colors are very flat. In here the colors have actually these shadows which give them a form, which make them look like a 3D. So let's get that by going to this amazing feature again in particular. Clear this mask. It's called shading, and by activating this, it's now taking, this is the shading, this is the overall shading, because the light is it seems it's taking it as it's very far. As you can see, this is our light and this is our particles. They are very far, so we don't really get any information here. We can change that by increasing the nominal distance. Increasing nominal distance, we can start to achieve some colors. Okay, now we get our light close. Okay. Or what I will do sometimes, I could keep it as it was and just create another light. However, the second light, I will put it behind the background and apply this effect. So it will not affect the layers. I will only use it for the particular. So let's try this. So if we make it closer, like this, I think this probably creates a better effect because we get this illusion of having the light in this side instead of just applying a light over everything. You can always change the intensity of the light, increase it, or of course go to particular and decrease the nominal distance. It's up to you. This is all experimental. More you experiment, more you play with these settings, more you get an interesting project. Alright, let's move on. We still got this, we have this great light effect. It gets closer to light, it's more bright. It gets further, it's more dark, but we still don't have this form, this shade, form shading. So to have that, we need to activate this. It's called shadowlet. Now we are looking only at auxiliary particles, at aux particles, and not the main particles. So we don't have to apply it for all the main particles, we'll just activate it for the aux. So now when we activated it, we can see some form here. We can see the form shadows. It's too strong, it's very dark. We can change that. We can change the size, for example, distance. This is settings that you can play with, and you can also change the color of the shadow itself. For example, here, if you want the shadows to be, for example, because here we have colors that are actually cooled. We can have the shadows to have a warm color instead. This might create some contrast, as you can see. Just gives some interesting effect. Alright, so what we could do next, let's save this. Yeah, the habit. Alright, let's go to the auxiliary system. As you can see here, when the particles go further, when they get away from the emitter, they actually become smaller. So this is what we're gonna do here. So smaller in size over life. If we change this birth, actually here when I change this, it becomes smaller in the birth, starting from the main particles. It doesn't get smaller on at the end. I want the inverse actually. I want it to become smaller at the end when it dies, like this. This is better. Like this. This is all things that you can play with. Okay. So let's take a look now. Okay, so save. Let's purge, remove everything in the background. Okay. I think it's this line, this length, it's very long. I think so much longer than this one. However, what I can do is I am going to physics. I'm gonna lower this. If you remember the gravity negative value to push particles up, I'm gonna lower it a bit. So around here, I will decrease the particles, make them 20. We don't need to have too much particles. We can change that over time, as you can, if you have noticed. I don't have the same amount of particles in the beginning. I have an amount here, and at some point, like here, where is it? It's here. Here I started to increase the amount. I've actually created a keyframe and increased the particles at this part, because here it gets we get more sound, we get more rhythm. I've increased the particles, and I've actually increased another effect, which is here, which is our auxiliary physics. Where is it? It's here. At that point I've increased this too, the turbulence for the auxiliary system. We will look at that after. So, okay, so let's increase it. Ready for now. Keep it like this. Make the size of our particles bigger, because our scene is quite big. More. I think this is not bad. Alright, look at it. Again, you don't have to stop here. You can play with as much as you want. You can play with all the settings. You can play with the scale, for example. Here, as I talked before, the scale you can make it. So if I make this, it will be very strong, as you can see. This is the turbulence effect. And if you feel that it's very fast, you can go back and play also with this. Play with the the effect, that the value of the speed, the physics speed. If we go back to our effect here, if you feel that it's fast all the time, we can, for example, select effect. We can do this, for example. No, this is our first range. We want our second range. Okay, so it doesn't take always too much, and we can push this up to this is all up to you. These things we can change anytime. And go back to our effect. Let's take a look. So probably the scale was very high, so let's just leave it back as it was. 5 or 8. Let's take a look at it like this. 8 probably is better. So this is all experimental, as you can see. You play with the settings until you get the effect you want. There's no such thing as what is the exact effect you wanna get. There's no such thing. The other thing I wanna look at is the background. I think I could change something else in the background. Could make this corners more darker. Just to close this side. This side is very clear. So if we look this, if we make it darker, you can drive the viewer here more comfortably. As you can see here, you don't go ahead and look at this side. We look exactly, because here is the strongest contrast. The the particles against the white at the back. So probably if we increase the made it darker here, we could also, let's calculate this one. This one is here. Okay, probably could make this one hotter, warmer. Yes. To just plain. We have, as you can see, we have totally changed the mood. This is all things that you play with until you get what you actually look for. Doesn't matter. So, right. Okay. Alright, let's just not waste too much time. I just love doing this stuff. This is my favorite part. Okay, she's back to too much hot, too much warm. Alright, okay, let's keep it this way. That's it. No more changes. Okay, so I can stop here for particular. It's probably not big enough as much as this one, so let's increase the size. And the life probably, let's see what we'll do. Okay, so we'll just increase the life over this, the main particles. You can also increase the life over the other particles if you want to create more. Okay, these particles are so big, so let's make them 6. The scale, maybe it's too big. Anyway, make the background. You can add an effect to the background, for example. If you find it too much hot, too much warm, you can use like curves. Increase the blue, red, this red. Just as I said, you can always change these things after. Always change the overall mood. This is up to you. It's up to the mood you want to give. Or of course you could change the colors of the particles. Here. There you go. Change this. As you can see. Like this green. Okay. By the way, to remove a square, you just push it back, and to create one, you just click, push down, click, push down. Okay, so I'm saving. I think we're ready to move on to the next stage for the reflection. Many of you have asked me this. This water effect. Okay, let's save our project.